We are less than a week away from The Chosen Season 4 opening up in theaters, and of course a lot of people by this point have seen the first 2 episodes of the premieres, both in LA and in London, including myself. Yet, there's a lot of stuff that I was wrong about, and seemingly everybody else was as well. Let's talk about how everyone was wrong about The Chosen Season 4. So over the last several months, as The Chosen has been promoting this season, the main word that they've been using is dread.
I dread what is to come.
You shouldn't watch season 4 if you don't react well to death.
I'm dreading it. We all knew this was coming.
And season 4 is gonna break your heart.
They don't even buckle you up and they just kind of send you off.
Season 4 is exciting, but there are some things that you maybe won't be the most excited to see.
There's a sense of dread and intensity, hurt, and pain that's going to be coming through season 4. Now, I've seen the first 2 episodes. Me and Vanessa were able to go to LA for the premiere. If you haven't seen our coverage of that, go back and watch that. It's a lot of fun. But other than getting sick all the way back home from LA, there's a lot of things that we've been thinking about of these first 2 episodes since we've seen them. First things first, we were right about a lot of things. If you've been watching this channel and the Snipe Life for the behind the scenes content for the past 8 months or so, then you know a lot of what's upcoming in season 4, and even in these first 2 episodes, as we've been talking about for the last several months of what these 2 episodes are going to be about. Now, episode 1 was a lot more clearer to me, as I knew kind of what that episode was going to be about overall and could tell the storyline through it for the most part. And now episode 2 was more of a mystery to me. I couldn't exactly pinpoint what was going to happen in episode 2, but it was good. It was really, really good. However, of course, there were a few things that I was wrong about and things that I wasn't expecting coming into The Chosen Season 4. Now, of course, the one that you all know that I was wrong about is something that I claimed a few weeks ago, and that is that this woman is Elizabeth. That this is almost 100% in my mind Elizabeth. Now, in my mind, I had been looking at the behind the scenes for such a long time. I've got so many little intricate stories and thoughts in my head that I didn't recognize this as the actress who plays young Mary. I thought for some reason that there is no way that this could be her, and it doesn't really look like her. She looks way older than the younger version of Mary that we've seen previously, and she's supposed to be the youngest that we've ever seen her here. So to me, it didn't make any sense that she looked the way that she did in a different outfit and looking a little bit older, but this is young Mary. Even so much to say that Dallas kind of laughed at me for thinking it was Elizabeth in the first place. He thought that nobody would get that wrong. Now, of course, I'm bound to get things wrong as my guesses are coming up in season 4, and I'm looking forward to seeing everything that I've gotten wrong. But there was some other things that I really was not expecting coming into season 4 that really threw me off, but not in a bad way. All of the cast and crew that we've talked to have said the same thing. Season 4 is going to be intense. Season 4, you're going to have this feeling of dread. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be painful. But there is something else that kind of came out of this whole situation that I really wasn't expecting, hearing that feedback going into those first 2 episodes. And the one thing that I really gave feedback to Dallas after watching the episodes was there's way more balance than I was ever expecting. I was expecting this to be really, really dark, really, really painful, and to have that feeling of dread. And while there may be a piece of that, these 2 episodes, at least in the beginning of the season, I think you're going to laugh more than any other episodes of The Chosen. There are a lot of moments where they've added in levity and fun and brightness in midst of the darkness. And I really wasn't expecting that as much. I was really expecting this to take a hard turn into the darkness. But in some ways, it's almost this dichotomy of we see the darkest that we've ever seen, but we also see the brightest that we've ever seen. And the levity helps with that a lot. And it's a really, really good balance. So if you were worried going into this about feeling too intense or feeling too overwhelmed with emotion, I really don't think it's something that most people are going to struggle with. Yes, there are hard moments even in these 2 episodes here, but there's a lot of really good stuff that's coming out of this and really exciting storytelling for the future of The Chosen. Every time I think I have it figured out, the writers of this show always surprise me. And I love that about Ryan, Tyler, and Dallas. They're by far the best part of this show for me. How the script is written, because that makes the actors better. How the script is written, because that makes the locations better. How the script is written, because that makes the jokes and the hardships and the pain better. It makes it more enjoyable to watch, it makes it more enjoyable to dig into, and I'm really looking forward to breaking down these episodes for you guys in just a few weeks. Now, other than that, I haven't seen episode 3, so I only have a really good grasp on the first 2 episodes of this season. Episode 3 is promising to be something else for sure. The only scene that we really know comes from that is the 7 woes to the Pharisees in Capernaum, where Jesus is yelling at Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Josiah. Now, this is going to be really interesting, and I'm excited to see the beginning of that and all of what Jesus is doing in season 4. So what do you need to know as you go into this season? Now, oftentimes The Chosen will say, just watch the show like it's a TV show, but I think it's really, really beneficial for you to understand what's happening in the show as you're kind of going along. Don't worry, I'm not going to give you any major spoilers. I just want to give you some chapters that you should probably look at before we get into season 4. And now, I don't know when a lot of this stuff is coming. I just know that it is coming at some point, and pieces of these chapters could be really important. I would say John chapter 8, John chapter 10, Matthew chapter 14, Matthew chapter 16, and Matthew chapter 23 is a pretty good start as to where you want to be. There's a lot of moments within these chapters in particular that are going to be really helpful for you to understand what's going on in season 4. Of course, you can come back to this channel at any time, and I'm going to break down every single little piece of those, and we'll dive straight into scripture as well, talking about exactly what's happening in the show overall. And of course, if you want to be a part of that content and you want to see extra behind the scenes stuff, make sure you join us over on Patreon at patreon.com/thesnipelife. This is by far the best way to help us to run our channels and for us to continue making the best Chosen breakdown content on the internet. So definitely check out our Patreon down below. Now let's go over what I thought about these first 2 episodes overall. Starting with episode 1. Episode 1 is exactly what I thought it was going to be, but even more. Even though this episode is the introductory episode and kind of getting things ramped back up into The Chosen, there's a lot that's going on in episode 1. Just so much stuff. I think they did a much better job here than they did in season 3, even though I didn't dislike season 3 episode 1. Season 4 episode 1 is just so much stronger. There's a lot that really kicks off this season and tells you this is exactly how it's going to be. Now, obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but there's a lot of stuff that we know that's upcoming, and they played it out really, really well. Then episode 2 kicks off exactly where episode 1 left off, and it just plays off of episode 1 so well. Then in episode 2, we see a lot of unique moments, and we're seeing a new group beginning to form. It's no longer this baby kind of disciples of Jesus, the apostles running around, Mary and Tamar and Rama and everybody. They're more mature now. They're growing up. They're becoming leaders. They're becoming the church. And it's really, really cool to see that. This episode in particular is one that I cannot wait to break down. There are some things that The Chosen did in this episode that I honestly did not think they were going to, and things that are going to be really interesting to talk about in the future. I'll leave it at that for now. Now, episode 3, I don't know anything about other than the few things that we've been told about it previously, but I'm really excited for this one as well. Episode 3s in the past have always been a unique spin on what's going on in the story, but I don't think that's actually happening in this season. I think for the most part, this is going to be a normal episode. I don't think there's going to be a ton of changes like we've seen in season 1, 2, and 3, because Dallas said he's no longer doing those self-written only him sort of episodes. So I don't know, we'll see. That's pretty much all my voice can take for today. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Sign up for our Patreon if you want to support us. And of course, get your tickets for The Chosen in theaters February 1st. We'll see you guys there. Peace.